Abhijit Roy, Managing Director and CEO, Berger Paints, joins us now, and let's connect with him to understand that how things have transpired for the quarter gone by. Abhijit, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Each time Abhijit has a new painting
Yeah, I was about
in
to
the
ask you that.
background.
Last time I think it was a Picasso, right?
That is right. This is I'm in Delhi now, so this is in my other office. So that's the problem.
Okay, I thought for a paint company you should have new colors on the wall behind you rather than new paintings.
Yeah, that is also there. By the way, the color is different.
Are things looking different for the paint sector now suddenly? For a business which was a linear business, now there is competition, there is a demand, uh, there is a demand challenge and also commodity raw material issue.
No, actually, Nikunj, yeah, quarterly, if you look at the figures, it looks different. But YTD, we are perfectly fine. It's that last year, this quarter, in the third quarter, we had a bigger base, largely due to the fact that there were price increases there in this quarter, and there was a buildup of stock, therefore. So that way, demand remains reasonably good. I don't think there has been any either deterioration or improvement in the demand scenario. But as far as the competition is concerned, that's some distance away. But we have to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Uh, the quarter gone by, in a sense, also represented the peak season, which was Diwali Dashera. As we
Right.
look into the future, do you see the demand momentum could slacken or it will continue?
So as I see it, the demand should be good this quarter in the quarter four. In fact, the quarter three got impacted a little bit by excessive rains and a very short Diwali this time. So the base effect combined with these two reasons, actually would have affected most paint companies across, different categories, except for the industrial paint, which did relatively better. So from the decorative perspective, that was why, it was a little bit a slower growth rate. But I think we will go back again to a comfortable double-digit growth rate in quarter four.
Let's in specific talk about what kind of volumes do you actually foresee? Because for the quarter, you saw a growth of 6.6%. December saw a double-digit volume growth. Is that a run rate to then expect to continue in, say, the fourth quarter and, the next fiscal as well?
Yes, so fourth quarter, we should see a double-digit volume growth for sure. As of now, it looks like that, so it should be okay. Uh, Going forward, quarter one onwards, I think it should be a reasonably good growth coming up, in the next year.
I also want to talk about your Sandila plant, which is expected to commence commercial production this month itself. What is the capacity addition and incremental revenue that you can expect from this plant? And when is it likely to reflect onto your numbers?
So this is going to start from the 6th of Feb, which is, Monday actually. And this is very much required by us because, otherwise we were a bit constrained. This is about 33,000 metric ton per month capacity. We currently have about, 62,000. So that's almost 50% increase in terms of capacity. So 95,000. We were a bit constrained, and one of the reasons why this quarter we suffered a bit on the profitability angle is that we were had to build up stock for the seasons. The seasonal months typically becomes about 40-50% more than the normal average month, and in that period, we run out of our supply is not enough to meet the demand. So we tended to actually stock up a little bit in advance and then carry forward. As long as the prices were rising, that was fine. It gave us advantage. But when the prices started dropping like this quarter, we got basically into a disadvantageous position. Now this will go away with the start of this plant, and the working capital management will be much easier. We can supply as and when the demand picks up. We can then pick up on the supply side as well.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Roy. Let's also talk a little bit about your product mix. What is the outlook here? Is there any kind of downtrading seen, and what's the outlook going forward?
So in the quarter three, if you compare it with previous quarter of last year, then you will see that there has been a little bit of a downtrading in the exterior emulsions category, suffered a bit on two accounts. One, that there were price increases on this product category last year, so the bases were high. And the second, the monsoon, which dragged on till the 17th, 18th of October, impacted, and with a short season, that impacted the exterior demand a little bit. But going forward in January, for example, it came back to normalcy, and we see no reason why it should be different in February or March. So demand is back. The normal categories are growing at the pace at which we had been growing earlier.
Okay, and given that this time around we saw the budget really push on capex, there was a focus on the scrappage policy. In this regard, how are you looking at the outlook on construction chemicals and automotive coatings?
So construction chemicals, I think is doing well, growing very at a good pace, and we expect that will continue the trend in the coming year as well. As far as automotive is concerned, after a long time, it has started looking up. Even the two-wheelers have started now growing a little bit at a decent pace, I would say, and therefore auto demand also should stay there. And normally it's a cyclical demand, so it lasts for a few years at least. So expectation is that the automotive category also will do well in this year.
All right, and how are you looking at your strategy in terms of taking on the competition in the decorative segment? There is massive capacity additions by the new and existing players and likely pricing aggression as well by new entrants. Is that a worry?
So, it needs to be seen what happens, down the line. As of now, the industry, whatever capacity we have added, for example, is very much required. And I think, most of the other players have added as per their needs. And, it's quite a responsible industry so far. I expect that, it will remain so going forward as well. There will be intensification of competition, there's no doubt about that. And so we are preparing ourselves for that, as much as possible. We don't know what will happen in the future. There's no point, getting paranoid about it. But we need to be careful. We need to prepare ourselves well.
Okay, Abhijit, great to have you then on the show. Thank you as always for taking the time out. Let's just quickly